Life is happening now in this very moment, but the mind is always running away, either chasing memories of the past or imagining possibilities for the future. It never truly rests in the now, and this constant movement creates unnecessary suffering. When a person fails, the mind clings to regret, disappointment, and self-pity, and when success comes, the mind gets inflated with pride, greed, and the fear of losing what has been gained. But both failure and success are just passing moments, like waves in the ocean. If a person is deeply aware, neither failure can disturb nor success can intoxicate. Think of a student who has studied hard but failed an important exam. If the mind gets trapped in the thought, "I am a failure," the student will be lost in sadness and might even give up trying. But if the student simply looks at the failure as a passing event, without labeling it as good or bad, without personalizing it, then there is no suffering. The exam was attempted, the result came, and now a new moment has arrived. Why cling to the past? In the same way, if another student tops the exam and gets attached to the label of success, they may feel superior today, but what if tomorrow brings a challenge? Then the fear of losing this success will create anxiety. True freedom is to see both failure and success as fleeting movements without clinging to them. To live in the present means to observe life as it is happening without resisting or judging. But the mind is restless, always reacting to emotions. Happiness comes, and the mind wants to hold on to it forever. Sadness comes, and the mind wants to push it away. But emotions are like clouds in the sky, constantly changing, never permanent. A person who deeply observes their mind can see that emotions arise and pass on their own. Just as the body breathes without effort, thoughts and emotions also come and go naturally. The problem arises when a person identifies with these emotions thinking, "I am happy" or "I am sad," as if these passing feelings define their entire existence. Imagine someone who experiences heartbreak. If they keep thinking, "I have lost my love, my life is meaningless," they become prisoners of their own thoughts. But if they simply observe the pain, without adding unnecessary stories to it, they will see that the pain also fades with time, just like a wound that heals on its own. The secret is to watch without interference. When happiness comes, enjoy it, but do not cling to it. When sadness comes, observe it, but do not drown in it. By being a silent watcher of the mind, one moves beyond its constant fluctuations and begins to experience true peace. Living in the present does not mean rejecting thoughts of the past or future. It means not getting lost in them. Practical life requires remembering lessons from the past and planning for the future, but one must not be trapped in them. A businessman must plan strategies, but if his mind is obsessed with "what if I fail?" or "what if I don't make enough profit?" he will be unable to work effectively. Similarly, an artist must have inspiration, but if they keep worrying about whether people will like their art, their creativity will be blocked. The best action comes from a mind that is present, fully engaged in the now without fear or expectation. Imagine a dancer lost in the rhythm of the music. If they start thinking, "Am I performing well? What will people say?" they lose their natural flow. But when the dancer forgets everything and simply dances, the movement becomes effortless and beautiful. This is the way to live, fully involved in whatever is happening, but without attachment to the outcome. Work hard, love deeply, experience fully, but do not become entangled in thoughts of gain and loss. The mind creates suffering only when it resists life or tries to control it. Observation is the key to freedom. When a person watches their thoughts without interference, they begin to understand how the mind functions. Normally, people react to everything. Anger arises and they explode. Sadness comes and they become depressed. Excitement comes and they get carried away. But the moment a person watches these emotions without identifying with them, they start gaining control over their inner world. Suppose a person gets angry at someone. Instead of immediately reacting, they take a moment to observe. The anger is there, but they do not act upon it. Soon they see that the anger begins to dissolve on its own. Just like watching a storm pass by without getting wet, one can watch emotions pass without getting affected. This does not mean suppressing emotions, it means understanding them deeply, without letting them take control. Through constant observation, the mind loses its power to disturb, and a deep silence arises within. In this silence, there is no fear of failure, no excitement for success, no attachment to emotions, only a deep contentment with life as it is. The beauty of living in the present is that life becomes light, effortless, and joyful. A child plays without worrying about the past or future, fully absorbed in the moment. That is why children laugh so easily, while adults carry the burden of endless thoughts. A person who truly lives in the now regains this childlike innocence, but with the wisdom of understanding. Whether facing a great challenge or a moment of joy, they remain centered, neither lost in worry nor overwhelmed by happiness. They see life as a river, constantly flowing, never stopping. By flowing with life instead of resisting it, they experience true freedom. No failure can break them, no success can trap them, no emotion can control them. They simply live, moment to moment, without fear, without expectation, without clinging. And in this state, life becomes a dance, a celebration, free from suffering and filled with deep peace.